Hi, my name is Dr. Pecoraro. I'm a chiropractor in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. And in this video, I'm going to attempt to explain God's relationship to sickness, disease, and suffering as it relates to His divine providence, free will, and His permissive will. So I'm going to try to use examples, and hopefully it'll come out all right. Anyway, the example that I want to give you is the example of a parent teaching their child or allowing their child to walk. The parent, who represents God, the child represents us. And the parent knows that it's best for the child to be able to walk on his own instead of having to grow up and always be helped by the parent or by someone else. Because if that was the case, then that child couldn't go anywhere without the parent or without anyone else. They would never be able to get around and do things. So the greater good, which is God's divine providence, is that the child walks on his own someday. That's the greater good. That's God's divine providence. In order for this to happen, the parent has to allow or permit the child to walk. This is free will, and that he's even allowing the child, permitting the child to walk, and also God's permissive will. He's permitting the child to walk. Now, when the child walks, he may fall down. And this is part of the learning process. He has to do this. And he can fall down for a couple of different reasons. He could fall down because he just can't do it. The falls would be sins. And he could fall down because he could sin because of something in himself where he just can't do it. Or he may fall down because of the wind comes and knocks him down. This would represent the world itself. And he could also fall down because someone or some animal comes by and knocks him down. This would be representative of, say, the devil. So you can sin by these three ways, and these sins are represented by the falls. Every time the child falls when he's trying to learn how to walk. Now, when he does fall, he can get hurt. And the hurt may just be a little bruise, or it may be a cut, or he may even die. You really don't know where he's going to fall or when he's going to fall. And these represent the effects of sin. It could be sickness, it could be suffering, it could be disease, it could be anything. Now, in this example, no one in their right mind would say that the parent caused the child to fall. In other words, God doesn't cause you to sin. And no one in their right mind would say that the parent gave the child the bruise or the cut, or that the parent killed him. So God does not give us suffering, doesn't give us disease. Now, let's take another example similar to this of a child who wants to go higher to say the second floor of the house. And he wants to go up there because it's better up there. And the only way that he can do this is on a stairway that's outside. Now, this stairway is outside. There's holes in the stairs. In other words, there's no back to the stairs, so you can see right through. There's a hand railing, but it's got few posts on it, so you could actually fall off. And this child wants to go up there. He wants to get to a greater degree of holiness. So he wants to go up these stairs. And he can see them. They're very high. He may fall down again. And these falls don't represent sins, but the fact that when he falls, he may get hurt shows that it would be like the sickness that he might get or the suffering that he might get in wanting to attain a higher degree of holiness. In other words, he has to have these falling downs in order to get up to where he wants to get. And God is not really giving him these things. It's just part of the process. And now I want to get to another stage. A person who God wants to bring even higher. And this would represent what's called the dark night of the soul. And this child also has to go up this outside staircase. But in this case, he has to go up this really tall, several stories high staircase where you can see through, and you can see that there's emptiness on the side. But he's going to have to do it in the dark, so dark that he can't see anything, that every single step of the way he's going to be worried that or wondering if he's going to be falling. And the wind is blowing very hard, and this is outside, so he knows that he may fall down pretty easily. The wind could knock him down, he could take a wrong step. But God, in this darkness where he can't see anything, he can't even see this far in front of his face, God says to him, don't worry, I'm going to be right there with you, the parent. He's going to be right there with him behind you, and I'm going to make sure everything's okay. Now this parent, God, can see in the dark, so he's not affected by it in any way. And this would represent the dark night of the soul. In other words, the child, the person, you, God is bringing to a higher degree of holiness, but it's not going to be easy. And what you have to do is to learn to trust in God in this process. And it's very difficult to do, and it may take a long time to get up those stairs in the dark like this. So try to meditate on these things that I'm telling you and see if they can explain to you a little bit about how God's relationship to suffering, disease, and sickness in regards to his divine providence, his free will, his permissive will, and how you can get sickness by, not because God's giving it to you, but because it's part of the process. Even if you're just trying to get to a higher degree of sanctity, like the baby going up the stairs on the outside of the building, or if God even wants to bring you to a higher degree of sanctity, as in the dark night, of which I explained, going up the stairs in the dark. So hopefully I haven't mixed you up any more than you probably already were. And by thinking about these things, they may help you to understand at least my vision of how this works. So thank you for listening. Think about it, and I'd be interested in what you have to say. Thank you.